Okay, let's do it. So, we're playing Blades of Time. Why am I playing this game in 2022? I don't have a great answer, other than, I want to say about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I did a stream where I was just like, I got all these games sitting in my library on Steam, and I've never played any of them. Obviously, I bought them at one point, and they were interesting to me at that point. So let me do strictly half an hour of every game, just see if any of them seem fun. And I played half an hour of this one, and I was like, you know what? This game isn't great, but I could go for it. Now, why am I playing it right now when literally like a million amazing things have come out in the last few days and are coming out in the next month or so? We just had Elden Ring, we've got Strangers of Paradise just came out, which I don't know if I would say that's good or terrible. Kirby's coming out, like all kinds of interesting good things are coming out. Well, I don't care. I'm just gonna play this. So let's go for it. And I think this will be a fun jumping off point for discussion of a lot of elements of this game as it relates to things now. That's really ambiguous, but let's start with the title theme, how about? There's this trend that I noticed, and me playing this game just after having finished 2 playthroughs of Elden Ring, I've noticed a trend in Hollywood scores that is a little bit annoying. And that is, you can hear it in this theme too. Big drums, screaming choir, brass, staccato strings. That is a combination that you're just hearing so much of it. Absolutely every single soundtrack, every single thing that's trying to be epic uses this exact same formula. And it's maybe a little more nuanced here and in some of these older variants, but the more people use it, the more it gets condensed down into this extremely boring little package of just like, this is the word epic in sound, right? And it's just so shallow at this point. Because I would argue that maybe some of the sound sort of originated in honestly, I would probably say the Lord of the Rings soundtrack is the first time I can think of this thing being used. Like, there's tons of big brass, there's tons of staccato strings, there's choir screaming in like the Osgiliath battle, the Gondor battle, and that's really like the moment that I can think of that really does that. I think some of the Star Wars prequels do that, not so much the originals. Yeah. And I think generally speaking, as much as I might want to trash talk John Williams, he does a good job of like orchestrating because he's a conductor of an orchestra. But I want to speculate on why this is becoming a trend, because obviously part of it is just Hollywood producers take, when they're making their movies, or game studios when they're making their game, they use a temp track, right? They pull a bunch of well-known pieces, songs, whatever, and they pull them together and use them temporarily while they're working on something, so that way they don't have to pay a composer to go write something that's going to have to be changed later, and the music comes very last in the production cycle. And so you get this repetition where like film producers are always using Mars the Bringer of War from Hulse the Planets every time they want to have a militaristic scene, and that's why, stuff like the Lord of the Rings Isengard theme is in 5/4 and uses big percussion doing bum 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 bum, because the Mars the Bringer of War thing is dun 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 dun. And so there's that aspect of it, of course, but specifically to the idea that all of this epic music is being distilled down into like very basic ways of writing for instruments. You might as well get rid of the brass section and just use a horn choir. Like, it's all French horns and maybe a little tuba, maybe a little trombone or whatever. But like, you don't even really hear the trumpet very much in most of these things. It's horns just blaring. And I want to argue that besides the point of it being obviously the whole situation of like, oh, we already know this works, so we'll use this again, is the idea that like a lot of the composers are learning through software and not through working with instrumentalists. So you don't actually learn what an instrument can do. You learn based on like what you hear in other soundtracks and what your composition software tells you that thing can do. And so you have all of these incredibly safe scores that are super easy to play. And like, and they pump out arrangements for like high school orchestras and stuff like that, and they almost sound identical to the real thing because the music is written very simply for simple to be played very quickly. And that's a whole other aspect of it too. But it's like, I think it's just interesting to think about the idea that like the composers obviously do their job and farm out their stuff to a team of orchestrators and stuff like that. But this is prevalent in almost everything now. Anything that's trying to go for an epic sound, all uses this exact same sound. And there's just like a complete lack of like interesting orchestrations in soundtracks. It's all very like strings play staccato, brass plays loud, choirs do wailing and Gregorian chant stuff, and I'm sorry, second contrabassoon, you have nothing to do, you know? And it just kind of reeks of like composition by composing by numbers, you know. And so there's a million different places that you can blame it on, but um I just thought that was interesting because specifically, and I know it sounds like, you know, uh, don't blame the person who's doing the thing, blame the organization around them that's causing them to do that. But I'm noticing this in indie games too, where it's like, oh, why is it like that in this game too? Why are they also doing this when they don't have that kind of cultural pressure or producer pressure and stuff like that? And I have to wonder if that's part of it. Is just like, you know, working with an orchestra is just such an unrealistic possibility at this point that nobody actually has experience with that. Working with actual players of instruments is so rare. So you got people like, you know, who maybe learn guitar or piano or whatever, or maybe they don't learn those at all and they just compose into the computer. And like, it's just like, okay, well, I didn't even know that, you know, the violin could do anything other than play the way that they do.
Where are you all coming from? It's no
So
wonder
I
that
don't
the
know.
local
It's just interesting.
civilization
It's
was
something I
doomed
wanted to
death.
speculate on because I noticed it in this title theme and then also in like almost everything in Elden Ring. I was actually really annoyed with that soundtrack just because it felt like it was just constantly every single boss theme was just the same kind of just let's just blare epic sounds at you with no regard for what's happening in the game, what's going on narratively and stuff like that. What am I doing wandering around here? I should be trying to figure out what to actually do here. um, yeah, and you know, not to dive too far into the specificities of the Souls series when I'm trying to play a game that's not them, but I can think of like 7 or 8 different tracks from Dark Souls 1 that I remember distinctly, as well as what they accompanied. Moonlight Butterfly, Gwyn's theme, the Asylum Demon theme, like all of these different themes that go specifically with the locations that they're in, and I can't say that for most of the Elden Ring boss fights. People were remarking on like how the Godskin duo had a great great soundtrack, and it's like that's a perfect example of like why is that theme so good when that boss fight sucks and is not memorable at all? Why was that kind of, you know, treatment not given to a major story boss? And so here we are playing this game, and we've got the usual pounding epic drums and all that. When I'm just running around and not really doing anything in particular, now I'm smashing a button to turn a wheel. Okay, how do I shoot? Oh, did I not figure out how to do that? Yeah, I've not been paying attention to tutorial prompts. Okay, that's my... Oh, wait a minute. I am not in the right part of the game. We gotta start over. So, oops. Okay. Story. New game. That's what we wanted this whole time. So we have no save
At
data.
last,
There we
I
go.
made it.
Let's go ahead and look at this intro.
The legendary Dragonland.
All
The
right,
island guards.
basic
I didn't
combos.
expect to meet them so soon. But where is Zero? I thought he was following me. They really are made of stone. I never believed that was really possible.
Now, I was having a lot of fun with this game. I think it feels like a good,
The dream of every treasure hunter in the
I don't
world.
know,
I still can't believe
Tomb
we're
Raider
here.
sort of thing. Old style Tomb Raider. A little bit generic, but fun
Let's see
enough.
what the compass says. The book
Now, the
says
biggest annoying
one of
thing
the compass needles must show the way to the treasure of Dragonland.
is that this character just
nothing's
never
been
shuts
said about
up.
the
Oh my
second
god. I think that's the biggest complaint that I had when I was playing it. Otherwise, I was like, oh, this is fun. Weird platforming, a little bit janky, but I can deal with imperfect. And only because it's still on my mind. You know, that was one of the comments that was made
Sweet.
about Elden Ring and its comparison to other open world games, and how there were people, designers of things like Horizon and stuff like that, complaining about its UI and its design, and saying like, they're just throwing all the stuff that I work towards out the window because I design all these systems and all this interface and all this stuff that clutters the screen,
That's
and
interesting.
characters constantly reminding you what to do. And it's like, well, but people clearly show that they don't need any of that. And this is starting to, this one was starting to fall into that too, where it's like, this is very much one of those games where the character is just constantly telling you what to do and where to go and all that, and it's like, well, maybe don't. But anyway, I'm not gonna be complaining about the whole game, hopefully, because I enjoyed what platforming I saw, the kind of stuff. I'm interested to see how this compass mechanic features into the game later. This is a game that very much feels of its time to me. Linear design, set piece design, stuff like that.
What was that? A ghost?
Always cluing you
It won't
in
be
like you're
easy
on
to
a
get used to all this stuff. This
some
place
sort of like
seems to
a
be full
theme
of
park
curious
ride.
Phenomena. I've no idea where to start. I only know that the legendary treasure is sure to be hidden somewhere on this island. But there are no maps or descriptions available. It's not really surprising. The Guild is the most secretive organization in the whole world.
Yes, starting off strong with the magic nonsense. Now, I don't know a whole lot about this game. I'm going based on impressions alone. Oops. And the only thing I do know is that it's
won't
not
be
really a
easy to get used to
sequel.
all this stuff. This place seems to be full of curious phenomena.
Is that this
idea
is...
where to start.
there we go.
I only know that the legendary treasure is sure to be hidden somewhere on this island.
The only
There
thing
are no
that
maps or
conflicts with
descriptions
me
available.
is like,
It's not really surprising. The Guild is the most
okay,
secretive organization
so
in
we've
the
already
whole
heard her say
world.
all this stuff. Is that this, lost my train of thought.
It won't be easy to get used to all this stuff.
She's saying it
This
again.
place-
Can I turn down her voice? That's the problem. Is like I try to stay quiet when cutscenes are happening so we can all follow along in the story. But this character never stops
full of
talking.
curious phenomena.
And so when I played Journey to the
At
Savage
least now I
Planet,
can see
I just turned the
everything with my own
character
eyes.
volume completely off.
I've no
I
idea
just
where
didn't
to
even want to
start.
hear any of it.
I only know that the legendary treasure is sure to be
Like, I
hidden
just want to
somewhere
get
on
into the
this island.
gameplay.
But there are no maps or descriptions available. It's not really surprising. The Guild is the most
Oh, was there a run?
secretive
Oh, you can just
organization in the
hold the
whole
dash
world.
button and she'll just keep dashing. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so I read a few reviews, watched a few video reviews and stuff after playing this for half an hour. And the biggest complaint was one that I actually felt as well, which is that, okay, you have your combo, right? and then you have to wait for her to completely stop the animation before you can move again. Same with the dash, right? You dash, you have to wait for her to completely recover. Same with the jumping. You have to completely recover before you can begin to move again. And that makes stuff like dodging out of the way kind of awkward. It's fine when you're doing this and you're like slash, 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 dodge, slash, slash, slash. Feels great.
Just like in the books I read. A good sign.
But it's the recovery from some of this stuff that's, whoops, not so great. And there's not great, I don't know, signaling to the player that you're getting hurt, I guess, is how I would put it. Like, you're not knocked out of your animations at all. You just take the chip damage and bleed.
I thought I'd find some hints for treasure hunters to follow left here by guild members. Something like marks on the floor or on the stones.
So we'll see. When I say that this is very much like the older style of making games, like it feels like an extremely linear guided tour of these levels. She's constantly telling you to go to the next room, constantly telling you how to do the puzzle that you're doing, and so it feels a little bit like a theme park ride.
For the first time, I am here to assist you.
To assist me? I need to find my partner, Zero.
That is of no importance to me. My duty here is to assist you in gaining power.
What do you mean? I'm here to find the treasure of the Dragon Temple. If you know something relevant, you can assist me with that. Don't waste my time.
I suggest you follow my guidance to survive. Now, that is my first gift to you.
No need for gifts. I don't like to be in debt. What did you do?
We are now connected, and I shall guide you on your path. With my help, you shall be victorious.
Tell me, what is it that you want from me?
To complete the path. The ability I empowered you with enables you to gather the life force of the enemies you defeat. Bring them to my altars, and you shall be rewarded.
Are you out of your mind? I don't need it. Take it back.
My gifts do not force anything upon you. Now, go, and be careful. A great danger awaits you.
Hey, wait! What about the danger? Excellent. What a terrible feeling. I don't like it at all.
There's something I think worth talking about in how much that they obviously cared about the animations, the way, the voice acting, the story, and all of that. And it's fair to say that they cared about it enough that they gave her plenty of lines of dialogue. And there's lots of little things like the looking around details in the cutscenes and stuff like that. They're just like, oh, there's nice little details here. The problem is it's like in composition there's sort of a thing where some composers get too in love with their own sounds and they repeat them too often. It's like, okay, you made a really great sound and now we're gonna hear it 100 times. And it's like, well, it was really impressive the first time you heard it, but not every other time. And that kind of goes for her voice throughout the game here. It's just like, well, could you not for a little while? It'll make those cutscenes a little more special. But anyway, I feel like I'm being really negative on the game, but this is just the way I am with these things. It's like I can't help but criticize the things that I like the most.
I'd have thought that I was in hell right now. Or maybe I am in hell. Oh well, who knows?
Oh well, who knows?
Have I stumbled into something again?
I might be in hell.
No.
Oh well.
Damn it. These ancient places are always full of surprises.
I think that was part of what I enjoyed about this game too. Is like it's got that kind of jankiness where it's like the story is nonsense and
just as I suspected. Move, Ayumi. Keep moving and don't stop.
her whole character has an identity, but then there's
What's
like
going
no
on?
weight to any of it.
It can't
Like,
be
oh,
true.
I'm in hell. Oh
This
well.
is me.
Oh damn it.
This doesn't seem funny at all.
I'm gonna die. Oh no.
Everything has stopped. Even the fire is completely still. Time has started again. Who's doing that?
It's like all of that dialogue, just rip it out. It's not necessary. It's like they're trying to take every thought that you could possibly have and give it a line of dialogue. Where you the player should be inquisitive about all of these things, right? You the player should be thinking, "Oh, that's kind of neat. What could that be? What could be causing that?" And instead they just gave her a line of dialogue, and then now I can take any of those thoughts and just put them in the trash can because she's going to deal with it.